The Hull Sovereign Parcours. 1,600 feet per second of 6.5 shot.
We've never done a test on the channel.
So today, we're going to put that right.
Yeah, see how far we can push them.
Alongside James Bradley Day at his training facility.
You said we'd have the opportunity to shoot down and practice for some World Championship style targets, of which you're saying most will have a stand that's downhill. I didn't realise we'd be shooting at like
50 metres downhill. Show us the way, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there is no point testing yours on easy stuff, but I was hoping we would.
We'll finish on the easy stuff, then we go home with a smile on our face.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's your ground, so I'm thinking, let's put the shot cam on your gun and see if we can get some of these breaks on camera, and then I'll pretend they're mine. That was an impressive display of skill. They are some pretty ridiculous targets.
Your turn now.
What choke did you have in?
3/4. I shoot that at everything.
That's more than most people.
The only reason I do is purely shooting so much about confidence. If you're hitting something in the middle and you're smoking it, be confident. In my opinion, I gain more targets from seeing stuff dusting and going to a stand confident than I would, you know, if I've got an open choke in and I ping something in half and I'd be a little bit, where was I? Then you question it, then you miss one.
Most people are happy just to break them.
Yeah, but if you ping it in half, you're thinking, can I do that again?
Yeah. I must admit, some of those breaks were impressive. Yeah. As with some of the misses, he missed like one. I'm going to live with that because I'm about to miss about 50.
Times 10.
Let's give it a go.
Sharp. That was a particularly nasty one.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here. That's my talent done for the day. It's interesting. Without sort of blowing smoke up these, there's been quite a few times when I've seen targets like that I just can't hit with other shells, and I know that it's about confidence. You put these in and suddenly it magically breaks.
Yeah.
Because they're another 100 feet per second faster than what I use as standard.
Obviously, my place here, I know what each clays are in each trap. I used to use a target called Euro Target, which is imported by Promatic, and they are particularly hard. So when you start shooting a Euro Target or Promatic clay that's coming edge on, not particularly fast, that's when, in my opinion, you really see a difference in the 6.5s and the 7.5s, and the 6.5s break them so much better.
More energy, physics.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're saying you don't use them all the time, and I think we'll have a look later why that is the case. Do I have to shoot that again?
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't think I'll be able to do that again. Let's give it a whirl.
I see you sometimes, as it come, you were sort of coming from above it to come through
just
it,
cut it off instead.
No, so I'll anything dropping, I'll always sit the gun below it and let the gap close up into the gun.
Okay.
What one are we going for? Same one?
Yeah, why not? Oh.
What a man.
I'm more of a fit-ass guy, one-shot wonder.
Yeah, you don't have to repeat it. It's just the doubles that are the trouble.
Yeah. I thought I'd missed it. That is a delay. I mean, these are fast, but that's just a long way.
Yeah, that's all it is. It doesn't necessarily want a huge amount of lead. It just takes a while getting there.
Yeah, as you said, the confidence it gives you to see it break into more than two pieces.
Yeah, for me, if ever I shoot something that I'm a little bit, do I go 6.5? Do I go 7.5? I always go 6.5 just for that confidence, peace of mind thing. And I know if I can't break it with one of those Sovereign Parcours 6.5s, I can't break it. It's out of range. That was a good kill. He likes a teal.
I mean, I like the teal more than I like the incoming midi.
Right to left, the one slightly this side of the trees.
That was unkind. Thanks.
Anytime.
Those are some pretty serious targets.
Yeah, you know, like I said, it's not going to be the stuff you're shooting on every single peg when you go abroad, but you know, you go to Hungary, France, a lot of these places, you are going to have a peg somewhere that is that sort of stuff, and if you don't know how to shoot it, it can be really brutal.
Yeah, and because you haven't put like an easy one in there, which is very kind.
Yeah, it's not particularly a place I bring a have a go sort of people up this side.
So I've got 3/4 in my gun, you've got 3/4 in your gun. I think it's safe to say that when we connected, they were
you're taking smoke off of a 50, 60 plus yard bird.
I would be interested, since we've got some 7.5s, for you to shoot that fourth target, that, was it 55-yard edge on crosser with a bit of power?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll hit it, but just to see the difference, because when we both hit it with the 6.5, it did just turn to absolute dust.
Cool. I'll try.
I'm sure you'll break it. It's just going to be interesting to see. We're with James Bradley Day filming something for Hull Cartridge, and we thought, seeing as I've got it, I brought the aim point over.
I don't like it, but I like it.
You don't like it, but you ain't missed with it on some ridiculous targets. Before we pattern plate it, I've got the 6.5 Parcours here and the 7.5 Sovereign. Seeing these two shot sizes side by side, the 6.5s are definitely bigger than the 7.5s. I mean, obviously, but they're visually, they look much more menacing. In this ounce of 6.5, you got about 280 balls and you got about 380 balls in the 7.5, which goes to what James was saying earlier about just having those extra lucky pellets. You know, they are different tools for different jobs, and that's part of what we've looked at in the whole range over the years. But just cool to look at them side by side.
Although a shot cloud is a three-dimensional affair, short of having a specialist facility, it's easiest to get a two-dimensional representation on a pattern plate.
You shoot a lot of pattern plates?
No. When I do, I can't hit them, so.
But you can hit clays, and we've established that's probably more important.
Yeah, moving stuff's fine.
You shoot 3/4 through both barrels.
Yep.
So I'd say, let's shoot it at 50 through yours, and then shoot it at 70.
Yep.
And earlier, I had a full choke in my bottom barrel, and I'm going to hit some, but I changed it back to 1/4 and I actually started hitting some more. So it'll be really interesting to see the pattern differences, because those pattern tight anyway, this pattern's tight anyway. Let's have a look.
Hit it.
You were saying, oh, I don't think the pattern at 50 meters will be that good. I mean, there's not a hole in that pattern you could fit a clay through.
Not at all.
That's why you shoot 3/4.
No, that's impressed me.
All right, let's see if you're impressed at 70 meters. Hit. I mean, that's still a good pattern for the worst possible play you'll see on a course.
You're not going to see something that far. That would be the biggest bird you'd shoot anywhere.
And you wouldn't expect to hit every one, right?
Ah.
Oh, you'd be nice to.
Yeah.
I know if it showed belly, you'd break it every time you put it in the right place.
100%. And it doesn't show your shot string as well, which is, in my opinion, a big part of it. Because when you do shoot stuff like that, you can break it and you don't break it into 1 or 2 pieces. You know, if it's under power, yeah.
One pellet with some speed against a target that is moving and spinning will destroy it, right?
100%, especially with the 6.5s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've just got that bit more energy down range, and that when you get out to here, this is when you see the difference.
Right, I'm gonna pattern test my gun with these bad boys. I've pattern tested it with Pro Fibers, which is my go-to. Let's see what these are like. And then, once we've done the theory, we're gonna find some big targets and shoot them.
The results from my full choke were brutally tight. Great if you want it, but perhaps too constricted for my ability.
All right, 1/4 choke.
It's impressive.
It turns out my 1/4 choke patterns almost as tightly as James's 3/4. That's why patterning your gun, choke and cartridge combo is useful.
Just as we were wandering up to the pattern plate then, I picked up a target that I was saying to Johnny about earlier. As soon as you have something a bit edgy, a bit slow, it's so easy to, when you're shooting the 7.5s and the 8s, just put a couple of pellets on it, and that bit only broke off where I've just dropped it a second ago. And that would be shot at 35-yard target, if that. Just coming slow in, edge on, dropping off the bank, and it hasn't broken it. That's why I'm going more and more to the 6.5s now, especially any grounds I go to where I see they're using Promatics, Euro targets.
If you manage to take a slightly larger chunk off, a good ref might spot it. But
yeah, but that, I've just,
easy to blow it to bits.
I've just dropped that bit off there. That was sat on there like that when we walked down. That's scored as a loss.
Yeah.
There's no other way about it. And it depends what ground I'm going to. I can go to one ground where I see a 40-yard target doing a certain thing, and I see that there are Laporte boxes by it, I shoot 7.5s at it. If I see that there are a box of Euro target Promatic clays, I'm shooting at 6.5s.
So every target has a different density.
Yes, so the Laportes will break lovely. When you go to, say, Barbary, Owls Lodge, grounds like that, you'll see that the clays smoke.
Yeah, they make you feel good.
Yeah, you know, you can shoot a 40-yard bird and you'll see a ball of dust. You go to Churchill, somewhere like that use the Euro targets, yeah, you're still going to break them, but you're not going to see dust off them, and you're going to have a lot more on the slower birds that show edge or show top that you will actually hit but won't necessarily always break, which is why I shoot so many of the 6.5s now.
And this is the difference between people like me and people like you, is that you're actually looking for these things.
The thing is that the standard's so high now, one target is sometimes the difference between coming first and fifth. So you have one or two like that, no brainer.
That's who these are for.
To a point, but anyone can have one. You know, that's a bird that I've been doing lessons on last week. It's not a big bird at all. And clients come along and you can see there's 1, 2, 3, probably 4 bits where a pellet's hit it there. It hasn't broken it. Why wouldn't you shoot a 6.5 on a bird like that, regardless of who you are?
I am still interested. We'll shoot this at 70 metres, but just to see perhaps why we wouldn't shoot these all the time, if they are as good as we say they are, other than lucky pellets. It is rare to see a target at 70 metres actually looking at it now.
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't shoot anything there showing top. Very, very rarely you might see a bird like that at a big shoot showing belly, but you don't get very many. Or if you shoot a shoot that's over a week-long period and the wind blows it, that's when you might see it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, course testers aren't going to be setting a huge amount there. Even me, as mad as I am.
Checking the 70-metre pattern and seeing 5 pellets in the centre circle was a real confidence boost. You can see why this is the cartridge of choice for so many championship winners in both English sporting and FitAsk.
I always understood that there was differences between targets, but I've never seen a visual explanation quite as good as this.
Yeah, so going back to what I said about the difference between the Euro target and Laporte clays, the Euro target and Laporte probably cover 90% of UK grounds. And saying about the Euro targets being that much tougher, I've just gone up there and picked up 10, 8 of which have all got pellet holes in. This is from where I was doing lessons last week, and that's on a quarter and away bird starting at 25 yards but going away at pace. And when that bird's travelling away from you and you've got the energy of the pellet coming from behind it rather than against it, you're just losing a lot of that energy. So although it's not what you look at and go, oh, that's a big bird, we'll shoot a few in a minute with some 7.5s and some 6.5s, and you'll really see the difference in how much harder the 6.5s do hit.
All right, let's go for it. Bluntly, that's not a hard target. It's not like super easy, but it's...
No, and the point I'm making on this, if you're centre of the pattern with a 7.5, yes, it will kill it. But once you get to the edge of the pattern, if you're not quite 100% on it, and you're only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pellets on it, it can go on without breaking.
Yeah.
Whereas if you put a 6.5 anywhere in the pattern on that,
you've got it in half at least.
Yeah, you've got a piece coming off of that bird rather than little bits off the edge just skimming.
I still go back to why would you not just shoot these all the time?
I shoot a 6.5 when you've got something longer, slower, edgier, where you haven't got the energy of the bird going against the energy of the shot to break. Anytime you've got something belly on, close, under power, you want as many pellets out there as possible. In a 6.5, you haven't got as many pellets. Yeah. Simple as. You know, the more pellets you're putting out there, the more likely you are to have, even if you're a little bit off of it, to have one hit it. But if you're getting to the stage where it's only 1 or 2 hitting it and they haven't got the energy to break it, that's when I'm dropping to the 6.5s.
Okay, so that, to the same effect, you might have some pro pistons or some 9s in there for something that's super close.
Yeah, to be honest, I just shoot the 7.5s at everything else. If you end up having, you know, some people love taking the pro pistons round, and I can see why they do it, but then you end up carrying around 150 cartridges around a shoot if you've got a box of 6.5s, a box of 9s.
So yeah, I can appreciate that.
Exactly. I haven't got big long strides like you.
All right, so we're going to break it with first.
We'll go 7.5s first. Ooh.
I would expect that to turn into dust, to be honest. It's 30 yards out.
And exactly what I said, if that was a Laporte clay, it would. Ooh. Say no more.
Going back to the confidence, if you walked into that target and only cracked it in half, you would have some questions for yourself.
Exactly, and that trap's, 20 yards from us, if that?
Yeah.
Yes, it's going away at pace, and where we're shooting, it's probably...
35, 40?
Yeah, 35. But it's not, you wouldn't be thinking the 6.5s you need for a 35-yard target. It's just knowing when and where, under what conditions, sometimes you actually do.
And this is the technical part of the game, right?
Exactly.
Oh. 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 That was a proper edge of target, as again, dove on the wind and still broke it in half.
Yeah.
But
and the first one, nothing left
for itself. I appreciate that you might think of using other things, but every time I use parkour, it does make you feel godlike, doesn't it?
I know when I put them in my pocket, if I can't break them with them, it can't be broken.
We're now at the pit that we shot from up there.
Yep.
It's a big hole.
Big hole. For a big driven up here.
Let's throw the biggest target you got and see what we can do to it.
just goes back to my point of saying about the 6.5s. If I can't break something with them, I can't break it, and that's a 70-yard target.
All day long, edge.
On edge, and the way it's not just breaking them in half.
Yeah.
It's nigh on smoking those birds.
At least it sounds stupid. You didn't hit them all, but then when you miss, at least you know that you're not missing because you.
Exactly, like just seeing the way that it does break it, you know that when you do miss, it's not because of the cartridge, it's because of you.
Thank you for watching, guys. This channel is made possible by our amazing sponsors. You can find out more about them in the description down below. And if you want to support the channel, you can join as a member. You get loads of extra content, well, some extra content, and occasionally we hook up and go clay shooting together as a membership group. If you don't feel like joining today, we really appreciate you watching and subscribing. Have a wonderful day.